Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us for News 10 at noon. I'm Sylvia Masters. We begin with breaking news. An appeals court has ruled that St. Martin Parish schools must reopen. Catahoula Elementary. An Alabama community was rocked by gun violence after 3 people were killed at a church gathering last night. And as you can imagine, families were in their homes hunkering down. Some of them we talked to said it sounded like a freight train was coming through. It was dark and it was scary outside. And this tornado, officials say, killed 1 person and injured 7 others. We just received word that the vice president has just landed at the Lafayette Regional Airport. St. Martinville police are investigating a crash at the Highway 31 truck stop after someone drove into the building. Earlier today, we even saw people putting out sandbags, even boarding up their windows in preparation for Tropical Storm Barry. And as reporters, when we go out into the field and we talk with families who have experienced such tragedy, this morning a mother is speaking out after her son was shot 7 times and survived.
We have to give a shout out to our 4:30 a.m. viewers, right? I mean,
yes.
We have a special place in our heart for our viewers who wake up this early with us.
Police are looking for a New Iberia man they say brutally beat a 5-year-old autistic boy as punishment for getting into trouble at school. Good morning, Caroline. That's right. We are on 10 acres of land that's surrounded by beautiful Christmas lights and decorations.
Good morning, Acadiana, and welcome into Spot 2. It's now 4:31 on your Monday morning.
Here on North McGowan Street in Rain, there is extensive flooding. Now, I'm about ankle deep in these flood waters. Reports suggest phony loan lenders are guaranteeing a quick loan with no upfront fees. Sounds enticing, right? Well, in the end, victims who provide their banking information to the scammers are left in the negative. And we're cooking up some foods, all in an effort to help fight breast cancer. This is downtown Houma on Main Street, the heart of Houma. I actually grew up not too far from here, down the bayou. As we all know, Houma was one of the hardest hit areas from Hurricane Ida. As you can see, businesses are torn up, glass shattered, pieces of metal still on the street. And all of the residents I spoke with here have some type of damage to their home.
We lost everything, ma'am.
Those are the words of many residents in Houma. Some say they're lucky just to be alive.
I made it through it, though. Thank you, good Lord.
Residents I spoke with who rode out the storm say never again.
It was very scary. I'll never do it again. Last time I want to hear that noise, I never want to hear that noise ever again. It lasted for hours and hours.
Rows of cars were lined up with people waiting to get essentials at the Houma Terrebonne Civic Center. Tarps, water, MREs, and bags of ice were all handed out.
You know, people want to come in and fix their houses, and you know, there's many companies up here, and then we're getting a lot of tarps up, or we had a lot of roof damage. Some houses were totally destroyed, some buildings.
Houma remains without electricity. One energy company official says it could be weeks, if not longer, until all power is restored to the city. Reporting in Houma, I'm Sylvia Masters. One Lafayette resident I spoke with says she was scammed out of $2,100 out of her own money in the form of Bitcoin when the scammer threatened to have her power disconnected. Now she's warning others tonight this can happen to anyone.
I called Entergy and I said, I just went and paid my bill. Can you see if you've been credited? And she said, ma'am, you don't owe us anything. And I said, oh my gosh, I've been scammed.
That's the moment Becky Addison knew she had been scammed by an Entergy imposter. The scammer called her from an 800 number stating her business was 2 months overdue on their utility bill. She was then instructed to make a payment of $2,100 through Bitcoin or the power would be disconnected.
In this instance, they wanted to use cryptocurrency, Bitcoin being the currency of choice. A lot of things, something that a lot of people are unfamiliar with, and from what we understand, the scammers walked this woman through how to go to a local convenience store, purchase a certain amount of Bitcoin so that she could transfer that to them.
And that's just what she did. Becky was told to go to a local convenience store and use a Bitcoin ATM.
I went to the Circle K. I asked the lady behind the counter, I said, I'm here to pay my Entergy bill. I called him. He sent me the barcode to my cell phone. I stuck it in front of the machine, and the amount came up of what I had to pay. I put in the amount. He was very, very sophisticated and knew what he was doing. He said, you're going to get a receipt for your records. Keep it in case we have a problem later. I said, okay, thank you. I got my receipt. It printed. from Bitcoin right here.
Becky then got a call from a different imposter saying she owed another $1,900 on her Entergy bill. That's when she knew things were getting sketchy. She picked up her Entergy paper bill and called the customer service number.
She said, there's nothing wrong with your account. So I called the police. They came.
Those bills, you're going to get a series of notices, especially before it would get to the delinquency point where the power would be cut off. They're not going to simply give you one phone call and give you the opportunity to take care of it on this one chance before something like that would happen.
If they would like put their energy towards something productive instead of trying to scam people, think of what could be accomplished, in the world.
Entergy is aware of the scam and wants to remind customers they will never demand immediate payment and does not accept cryptocurrency. Now, here are some tips from the BBB on how to spot Entergy imposters. Prepaid debit cards and wire transfers are red flags. Pressure to pay immediately. Scammers will intimidate you into giving them your personal and banking information. And here's how you can protect yourself against Entergy imposters. Call customer service. This will ensure you are speaking to a real representative. And lastly, ask utility employees for proper identification before letting them enter into your home. If you have a scam you'd like me to investigate, feel free to send me an email at smasters@klfy.com. In the studio, Sylvia Masters, KLFY News 10.
Welcome to T. Frere's House Bed and Breakfast, where Cajun hospitality and modern luxury create a visit unique to any other in the Acadiana area. I talked to innkeeper Catherine Cobb, who says she makes sure everyone that comes here feels at home.
I think the most interesting thing about T. Frere's is the fact that we still have a guest from way back when in the form of Amelia. And she is the dead living amongst the living. And so we host her and everything that comes with her, and people are engaged by her every time they stay here.
Amelia was a young woman who died in the early 1890s and once lived at this home. To add a little spookiness, legend has it she haunts the home.
Her family died during when they had yellow fever. And she has a husband and a child that is buried in a Catholic cemetery. And because they were not sure if she was murdered or suicide, or if it was a suicide, she was not allowed to be buried with her family. So she's upset about it. And for whatever reason, she has remained here with us. I have actually never physically seen her, but I hear her every day. From the opening and closing of the doors in the kitchen to the walking around upstairs.
Ghost hunters have even visited T. Frere's to communicate with Amelia. Guests from all over the world, France, Nova Scotia, Canada, and Africa, have stayed at T. Frere's House Bed and Breakfast.
They know from the moment I open that door that they are walking into a place that is well-loved, that they're going to be well-loved, that they're going to have great conversation, great food, and I just want them to know that the Acadiana culture is authentic and unique to the United States, and our hope is that they feel well-loved while they're here.
Whether visiting for business or pleasure, you can enjoy the ambiance of this century-old home in the heart of Cajun country. In Lafayette, for Destination Louisiana, I'm Sylvia Masters. We met Linda and Don Scheck-Snyder and asked them if they knew about Pay It Forward, and they did.
I have an envelope here with $1,000 in it, and the way it works is if you can think of someone other than a relative, and it has to be someone that we can go surprise right now, that you know that could use a helping hand. Can y'all think of somebody?
How about Mary Lou, our neighbor across the street?
Linda and Don thought of Mary Lou Stout right away.
She gets on her own. I mean, she's very active. You know, she's got a few health issues, but she's a good neighbor. She's like a mama to us, and she's a doll.
So we were off to meet Mary Lou Stout, and boy, was she surprised when she opened her door to see us. We introduced ourselves and explained to her how Pay It Forward works.
I'm Sylvia Masters with Channel 10, and this is Mr. Bob Giles with Giles Automotive, and we have a program called Pay It Forward, and we go out into the community and we meet somebody random and we ask them if they can think of someone to pay it forward to, and Mr. Bob will explain what he has.
Yeah, so I have an envelope that has some money in it, and we met them this morning. They thought of you immediately as someone that they would want to pay it forward to. So I'm going to give this to Linda and Dawn so they can pay it forward to you.
And what is this for?
It's just, we call it pay it forward, and it's just something we do in the community to try to help other people.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mary Lou opened the envelope to a surprise like no other.
$1,000.
$1,000, yes.
And what is this for? I mean, for you. It's just for you. It's to pay it forward. Yes, ma'am. Thank you all so much. I mean, I just don't know what to say besides travel glasses.
Mary Lou's reaction was priceless to a gift from her neighbors. For Pay It Forward, I'm Sylvia Masters for KLFY News 10.